Writing a novel can be brutally hard. And not just for those of us still carving our manuscripts onto stone tablets. I mean, look, it's 1989. Just bite the bullet and buy an Amiga like the rest of the world. Get with the times already. I occasionally get comments on this channel along the lines of, you're making writing way too hard, or all of this seems really difficult, or this makes things so complicated, I just want writing to be easy. And I think that these comments bring up a valid point while simultaneously missing the point entirely. There is a lot that goes into making a good novel. Novels and other works of fiction involve exploring the deepest realms of human emotion, a painful and somewhat ephemeral place that requires a great deal of effort to access. Your best writing will probably come from your most painful experiences. Making yourself feel these things is difficult enough without having to make someone else feel those things. And that, ultimately, is the supreme challenge of all writing. And that doesn't even get into the sheer number of hours required to produce a halfway decent piece of writing, both in learning the skill and in executing on that skill to bring a specific story to life. Days, perhaps years of resultless toil must be surmounted to produce a novel worth reading. You often have to work beyond your own level of exhaustion and well past the point where your own entrancement with the work has ended. Many writers have talked about the painful nature of the writing process. Hemingway, of course, famously said that writing is easy. You just sit in front of a typewriter and bleed. And in his case, drink, too, probably. I am slowly coming to the realization that the point of writing is that it's hard. The brutality that comes along with the process is the reason to pursue the process. The reason that you write a novel is not to produce a novel, but to produce a person who can write a novel, a person who has endured the pain of the process. I think it's this realization that some of these commenters have lost sight of, or they might just have different goals than I have. There's this modern urge that exists among a lot of people, myself included, to avoid pain. A lot of modern conveniences that we enjoy are about reducing friction, making things easier, getting results with less effort. Almost every single technical innovation, with the exception of the inkjet printer, is about achieving a result with less effort, getting something more by putting in a little bit less. This is a great process when it helps you achieve better results, when you use this newfound ease to push yourself even further. Wearing shoes will lessen the damage to your feet, which theoretically allows you to walk further distances. A word processor lets you go back and make corrections without having to retype an entire manuscript. Food delivery gives you more time to work because you don't have to drive to Taco Bell or whatever. The problem creeps in when these innovations lead us to become weaker rather than pushing us to become stronger, when we use conveniences as a means of avoiding pain rather than enduring more pain. You don't train lifting weights to pick up tiny objects. You don't train for a marathon to run 20 feet. Sailors don't train at sailing stuff to sail on smooth seas. Similarly, you don't write a novel filled with conflict and emotional turmoil in order to avoid those things in your own life. The skills you learn navigating fiction, the analysis of yourself and other people, all of that can provide benefits to your own life. This is what I mean when I say that the point of writing a novel is not to write a novel. It's to help you become a person who can write a novel. If writing a novel was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. The difficulty is the point. The challenge is the reason to do it. Not because of what you get out of it, but because of how you are shaped by it. I don't want to make writing seem easy on this channel because then you miss the point. You can fly to the top of a mountain in a helicopter, but you lose the benefits of climbing that mountain. This is why I go so deeply into the writing process on this channel. It's why I don't portray it as this fun, magical experience. The fact that it's difficult, the fact that it requires so much attention, so much energy, so much effort, that's the whole point. Now, some people will say that approaching writing in this way takes the fun out of it. It removes the ability for writing to be an escape. that any sort of suffering that one must endure in the process will ruin the process. And I don't know that that's entirely true, though I can understand where people are coming from. There's a difference between something feeling good and something providing satisfaction. Laying on the couch all day and watching Netflix feels good in the sense that it's comfortable and not very challenging. You don't have to really exert yourself in any way, but you don't get any satisfaction out of it. There's no accomplishment. There's no lasting sense of satisfaction that comes along with doing that sort of activity. All you're rewarded with at the end of the day is probably a desire to do the same thing tomorrow. You've not built yourself up. You've not built in the capability for you to do something else, to do something bigger. If instead of looking at writing as a way to avoid and escape these things, look at it as a way to build yourself up, as a way to help you deal with those things. Now, at a certain point, enduring the difficulty of the writing process does get easy, but it gets easy in a different way. There's a difference between something causing you distress and you accepting the difficulty and enduring that difficulty. When you care about writing, when you value what you get out of it, when you want to become the person that commitment to the craft will create, then you can endure the pain that comes along with it. In this case, you suffer if you don't write. You suffer if you don't put the effort in. Not putting the effort in is harder than actually putting the effort in. If you have experienced this, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't experienced this, then this probably won't make any sense. Writing becomes easy not because you've removed any difficulty from the process, but because you've accepted that difficulty. It's like running into a burning building to save someone. It still sucks and the flames are just as hot, and it would be easier to stay outside of the building, but you still do it because the motivation to save that person is so strong you're willing to endure the consequences. I get up early every morning to write because if I don't do it at that time, then it doesn't happen. Every morning there's a part of me that wants to stay in bed, but I don't listen to that part. Every other minute of the day, I want to be the person who gets up to write. It's only at that moment of the day, that moment where I actually have to make the decision, that I have any desire not to be that person. I don't say this to gloat. I don't say this to boost my own ego because frankly, there's nothing special about me. Anyone watching this can do more than I do. Me doing those things should be proof of your own capability because if this loser can do it, then anyone can do it. Become the person who can survive the difficult things. Become the person who can endure. Become the person who doesn't need an escape from life. Whether those things be failure or hardship or anything else, use the pain of it in your writing. Find meaning in it through your writing. Life itself is hard. Writing is hard, but we're made of stuff that's much stronger. Thanks for watching.